A brand new book comparing rich black athletes to slaves has gotten people talking all over the country. There was a time when 40 acres and a mule was the price black slaves sought as restitution for their forced servitude at the hands of white masters. But today, for the superior black athlete, that payment has swelled into millions of dollars, although the money comes without the important commodity of power. And the black slave, white owner mentality has remained intact. That is the argument at the core of William C. Rhoden's critically acclaimed new book, $40 Million Slaves, which postulates that not only is the ultra-rich black athlete still a slave beholden to white ownership, but that many of these slaves have willingly remained on the plantation.
It's a human condition. All decent people should speak out against this.
The title actually comes from Larry Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know Larry Johnson?
Yes, I do, formerly of the New York Knicks.
Well, remember in 1999 when the Knicks were in the NBA championship, and Larry was boycotting the media, and they were fine. So fine said, okay, you all want me to talk? I'm going to talk. So he commenced to blast the media and all that, but one of the things he said is that the only people I care about are those brothers on the court. He pointed to the Knicks. He said, we're rebellious slaves. We're a bunch of rebellious slaves. So, of course, the next day, he was just completely massacred in the media. Well, a year later, they were playing a game. The Knicks were playing a game in Los Angeles against the Clippers.
Against the Clippers, yes.
Against the Clippers. And so during the timeout, as they walked to the bench, this white fan stood up behind the Knicks bench, and he said, Johnson, you're nothing but a $40 million slave. And I thought that the anecdote was interesting for two reasons. A, that this fan remembered that for a whole season, and B, that Larry Johnson chose that particular metaphor to try to describe to the media exactly how he felt. You know, that particular myth. So that was, I want that to begin the beginning of a dialogue.
And that dialogue is what?
And so I think that we have to look at this and say, look, we have to have the same standard on black athletes and white athletes, and there is progress being made in terms of having black executives, black coaches, but look, more progress needs to be made, no doubt about it, but the idea that they're slaves, come on.
And what the professors advocating is the new racism.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, it is. It's racism because you're only doing it because they're black. And because they're black, you feel they should be accountable in ways that other people are not. And that is wrong.
But this is a problem, though. See, this is the first problem. You cannot equate, see, as soon as you begin to equate money with slavery, you're wrong. I mean, you're wrong because it's a condition. There were brothers, and I went all the way on the plantation. I've been doing it for 8 years. I went all the way on the plantation. There were slaves, there were jockeys who were making lots of money. Slave jockeys. There was a brother named Charles
1700s and 1800s?
Oh, man, there was a brother named Charles Stewart who was a trainer. We're talking about 1810. This brother was a trainer. He had his owners, he was in charge of his owner's stables. At a time when black people weren't supposed to leave state without a pass, this guy had his runners, and you know what? He was making so much money, he had to hire an agent because he was making so much money. But guess what? Charles Stewart was a slave. He was sold 3 or 4 times. Only difference is he could negotiate the terms of his...
But get